Hello everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Smart Document Management in a Modern Organization. And we can jump to the next slide. I'm Valentinas Boguševičius, Head of IT Solutions Department at Konica Minolta Baltia, and my colleague Kirill Kazakhin, Business Development Manager. And we can jump to the next slide. And today we will tell you about the optimized management of the document-related processes, for example, contract and invoice approval processes, or how to automate processes for preparing and approving such documents as human resources or personal documents. And we will also show you a live demo of the holiday approval process and much more. And we can jump to the next slide. And but first of all, let me shortly introduce you to Konica Minolta Baltia. As some of you already know, Konica Minolta Baltia is an official representative of Konica Minolta Inc. in the Baltic states, Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, and the Partners Network. As a leading global service provider in the field of IT and document management solutions, we also provide digital production and industrial printing solutions. As you know, Konica Minolta Baltia is a market leader in office printing equipment in the Baltic states, as well as production printing equipment. Today, Konica Minolta helps companies to transform the working environment into a digital connected workplace together with a team of professionals in the field of IT by implementing complex solutions and hundreds of customers every year. We are closely working with partners such as Microsoft, and we can press, we are closely working with partners such as Microsoft, mFiles, UiPath, and others, which allow us to provide the highest level of information and document management solutions to our customers. And if necessary, of course, to robotize and digitalize the company's processes. Now we will dive deeper into document management in a modern organization, and my colleague Kirill presents all of this. So Kirill, it is your stage now.
Thank you, Valentinas. So the topic for today's webinar is smart document management in a modern organization. And first of all, the ecosystem we use for that is Microsoft 365. So what is Microsoft 365? It's a productivity cloud platform designed to help companies run their business. It brings together productivity applications, not only Word, Excel, PowerPoint we used to work with powerful cloud services, device management, and advanced security in one connected experience. As a Microsoft trusted partner, we help companies to implement, utilize, and adopt Microsoft services for the increasing digital productivity. And please let us know if you already use Microsoft 365 in your business, if you are familiar with this platform, or maybe it's just new information for you. Just let us know via chat. When we speak about document management, we consider it as a part of content collaboration challenge, which also includes daily communications, forums, announcements, document storages, company policies, etc. So the whole information flow which we have in the company is covered by content collaboration. And content collaboration is a foundation part of Microsoft 365. And the goal of the Microsoft platform is to provide customers with the solutions for efficient content collaboration, both during office or remote work, because it's an essential part of our daily activities. The tools we use for the document management in Office 365 and Microsoft 365 includes OneDrive for the individuals, Teams for the Teams units, and SharePoint for the organization. Briefly about each tool. OneDrive is a familiar for us personal cloud data storage, and by default, we are provided with 1 terabyte capacity. We have an option to work with the documents from mobile phone, work with the documents offline with synchronization, and to have client applications desktop for the best user experience and integration with the cloud. Microsoft Teams became an essential platform for the lots of organization, especially during remote work, because it's the main platform tool which help us to keep daily face-to-face and Teams communication and collaboration. So for the current moment, it's like one of the key platforms in the Microsoft ecosystem. But when we want to design, manage, and control content collaboration, document management, and process automation across whole organization, so when we want to be responsible how it should work, how it should look, and to which channels it should be addressed, we need to use SharePoint. So SharePoint is a platform which helps us to design the whole business process, including document management for the company and organization. Let's review the core SharePoint features and capabilities, which made it a powerful yet flexible platform for the organizational document and process management. SharePoint is on the market for quite a long time. And for the 10 years, Microsoft developed not only powerful tool where we need to know a lot of customizations, how to develop the unique process, it already provides us with tools and features which we can use by default. First of all, we have a clear and logical structure and role-based approach, which allows us collecting, managing, and distributing content and data. For that, we are using SharePoint lists and libraries, which can be configured in accordance with the requirements of the specific process. In simple words, when we use SharePoint list or library, we have some item or document which we need to describe. We need to add description, we need to add categorization, we need to add permission access in order this document or item information would be well filtered and managed. And that SharePoint structure provides us with that. On top of that, using Microsoft Power Automate, which is also available with Microsoft 365, we can configure the business processes for the created documents and content, including integration with third-party applications. So it means we do not just store the document, we do not just store the information, and we don't need to develop any kind of integrations or self-developed applications. Using Power Automate, it proposes how we can automate the existing content we prepared. We'll speak about it a bit later. And just next stage, if we need also to provide our users with a friendly and, for example, mobile or tablet access, and nowadays it's one of the mandatory requirements, we can use and develop no-code applications also together with SharePoint and Power Apps. Together with it, as a general data storage, SharePoint, of course, should be used for building the analytics. And using Power BI, we can build data visualization, we can analyze the information we have in our SharePoint lists and libraries, which of course can be used for the different purposes. So for the current moment, SharePoint, not just a platform which should be used for the document storages or information storages. Together with a combination of Power Automate, Power Apps, Power BI, we can build a full cycle and full ecosystem of workflows and processes which help me to increase the efficiency of specific process or business generally. Together with that, SharePoint as a data storage platform provides us with a good threshold capabilities. For example, in SharePoint lists and libraries, we can store up to 30 million items or files in the lists or libraries. Basically, that means that we can achieve any specific requirement for the daily use business process or even archives. So SharePoint can do that. At the same time, of course, full text search and filtering capabilities to find the information properly, customization of the columns and views that we could filter the data based on different properties, that we could highlight the most important information which is displayed in this view, because it can be policy library, it can be some customer spreadsheet, and we want to easily manage this list and present different views, like expired and so on. Of course, all the changes you make with the content in SharePoint is updated online, and you can see when it's updated, who updated that, and what was changed. So all the online capabilities presented to you. And SharePoint lists and libraries, it's kind of initial entities in the whole SharePoint, and move ahead, Office 365 structure. So we can use these entities for the embedding into different areas. It can be SharePoint sites, which is published with some widgets. And this is a scenario which we can use, like getting the value of SharePoint list if we don't use SharePoint for now. is to use the embedding with Microsoft Teams. So for the current moment, Microsoft Teams, if customer uses Microsoft 365, becomes a platform we will spend most of our time communicating and collaborating with our employees. And if we have some, let's say, Teams channel who work on specific area, say finance team, HR team, and we have an information which we need to analyze and work on, like a list of candidates or a list of our customers, we can simply embed this list to the Teams channel. And just simple workflow. We don't need to work in two spaces separately like Teams and SharePoint. We can work from one place. Of course, for us, it's important to save time on the work we do. Already, SharePoint proposes new approaches, new templates, and moves it to the platform which doesn't require deep knowledges in the platform, in the SharePoint. So it adds more, SharePoint provides more and more simple capabilities and features which can be managed, let's say, by business administrator. As an example, conditional formatting. So if you want to highlight the information which is presented on the list based on some condition, based on some date, like expired date, we can easily configure it using SharePoint. And the big step ahead for the SharePoint as a platform was releasing the Microsoft Power Automate and its deep integration with SharePoint, because basically on top of nice structured data storage with secured and divided information split by departments, units, areas, we also receive an option to automate our content and receive templates how to automate it. So Power Automate just proposed us what can we do with the content which we store, how we can reduce the time which we spent on, let's say, document management, how we can simplify some processes, and the examples which we can just find everywhere, which we need like almost in any company. First of all, reminder, we have some document library. We know that, let's say, it's policy document repository, and this library has expired date and responsible person for this policy. So we can set up a flow like if expired date is coming, the responsible person should receive a notification and, let's say, review this policy and republish. So we just avoid a factor when we didn't notice that, let's say, expired date is come and we haven't made anything. So this process is automated. If you want to set up workflow on approval, content publishing, news publishing, maybe documents publishing, also Power Automate provides us with such option. Maybe we have some attendee list or customer list, and we want that all information which we fill in Microsoft form would be stored in SharePoint for the future analysis and visualization, also possible. But of course, the main value which we expect from powerful platform is that we can design it in accordance with our needs. And SharePoint with Power Automate provides us to do that. So here we slightly move from the topic of simple management automation, which we achieve with SharePoint and predefined services with Power Automate, to a smart document management. And here we'll speak more about Power Automate. So automation is a clear challenge, which Microsoft defines very simple. Each company has a significant resource in their employees, in their smart, strategic, and creative employees. And the less time the employees spend on routine tasks like working with mailing, filtering the mailing, working with the documents, the more value they can bring to the company itself. So, and that's why we are looking for an option to automate as more routine tasks as possible. But we have a challenge. So what efforts are needed to develop a specific automation platform? Because of course, we know that there are a big number of platforms which are related to specific business area to automate our process. So what efforts are needed for that? Time efforts, cost efforts, what people and skills are required to achieve the solution, and whether the chosen platform which we want to apply now can be managed in future and utilized in future. So here we speak both about the support and about the management of the platform, which we choose right now. Microsoft proposed to solve this challenge with the Microsoft Power Platform. It's a low-code platform that works on top of Office 365, Azure, Dynamics 365, and standalone applications. The low-code means that basically any code language knowledges are not required to develop a specific solution. Only understanding the code logic is needed to describe the process we want to achieve. In this case, Power Platform includes Power Virtual Agents, Power Automate, that is used for process automation, not only in SharePoint, but in other platforms as well. Power Apps, that is used for building desktop, mobile, tablet applications, so we can change the visualization of the solution we use to just classic application like we use on the tab on the mobile phone, and we understand the interface we use, but again with no code practice. And Power BI, a powerful platform for the data visualization and analysis, which allows me to gather all the information from different resources under one, common data service, and displays the information in interactive dashboard, tracks them online, and sees the progress of specific business or KPIs, etc. In addition to the low-code approach, which simplifies the process of development, Power Platform also provides us with data connectors, artificial intelligence builder, and common data services by default, which simplify the development process with Office 365 apps or standalone applications. I will tell about that on the next slides. To understand the logic of Power Automate development, so why it's recommended, why we recommend it as a new platform for the automation and smart document management, let's go through the key platform components. So first of all, Power Automate is built with several attributes that enables anyone to begin automation, and I will show how to do that. We can find simple components like triggers, templates, and actions that basically are used to describe the specific process. What does it mean? So each process we have related to document management or to internal process, to HR process, starts from some condition, like if something happened, when something happened, when someone made. And basically, Power Automate defines this as a trigger. And there are hundreds of triggers, which we can use by default to start and describe our process. And to continue the triggers, we can use action and templates. Yes, so if something has happened, we can do the following. So Power Automate provides us with the predefined hundreds of triggers, with predefined thousands of actions and templates, which are applied not only for SharePoint Office 365, but also work with standalone applications outside of Microsoft 365 ecosystem. That help us basically to build full cycle applications with integration, but basically without any coding. In addition to that, Power Automate capabilities allows us share documents with predefined templates, make seamless integration across Microsoft Cloud ecosystems. As we discussed, Achieve provides the connectivity to hundreds of applications. We will look on that, and already includes artificial intelligence in the platform as well. The key feature, as for me, of Power Automate that it brings to the customers an option, even to the Microsoft customers, not just to use Microsoft 365 as a list of standalone services which brings the value to each area or to each department. Power Automate allowed to combine all these services, including Office 365 and standalone applications, under single umbrella, under single automation process, reduce time and increase the value of our activities. As we can see, so there are plenty of services which we can use with Power Automate. There is a list which you can find on the Google. So starting from Adobe to Zendesk, even on-premise solutions. So all the file storages, all the cloud storages you have can be probably used in most cases as Power Automate by default. A little bit more about triggers. So just to understand, here we have small slide. So if I need to find how to, let's say, connect with my personal HRM system or CRM system, I don't need to develop anything. So I just choose from the list of possible services. I'm looking for the service I need to build the process. Maybe it's some Dynamics 365 or another CRM. And then when I find the required solution, I get a list of predefined triggers I can use for the automation. They include actions, they include buttons, everything to help me to work with the data this solution has. And the example of collaboration integration. So for the current moment, Power Automate works across the whole Microsoft 365 ecosystem, including Power Apps, Power BI, Microsoft Teams, Microsoft 365, and standalone applications. That allows us to build a single interface of collaboration between different applications. There are different cases how that can be achieved, and we will review these cases. It can be design interface, it can be SharePoint applications, it can be Power Apps applications, it can be even chatbot solutions, which as a chat assistants are published into your Microsoft Teams and help your employees to do things properly without accessing to any other system or application. For sure, to develop a solution on Microsoft Power Automate or Power Apps, the experience is needed. It can be gathered during some time. You can request a partner for help to analyze and build the solution with Power Automate, Power Apps to get the full value. But at the same time, Microsoft proposes you to try which, let's say, personal processes you can automate and simplify some actions in your daily activities. If you have Microsoft 365, you can access Power Automate platform, and in the section templates, you can find what available templates can be used for you. It can be kind of notifications. It can be integration between Outlook and OneDrive. Let's say if you get an email with attachment, this attachment will be stored in OneDrive automatically, and others. There are general Power Automate scenarios, there are specific scenarios for the different areas, and that can be a good start to understand how the automation can work for you personally and what value it can bring to you. And now I would like to tell about some practical scenarios. So we discussed with you how Power Automate and SharePoint work theoretically. So what scenarios can be achieved with SharePoint and Power Automate, how that allows us to achieve the goal of smart document management. The first scenario is for HR team, onboarding of new employee. So how do we see such process, how it can be automated? So we have a candidate, and the standard process looks like we have a candidate, we can make calls, then we get an email. Then when we read that email, we start communication with the team internally to arrange meetings, interviews, gather all the information, get information via chat from the manager and others. And then finally, we can invite candidate or reject to the position. What is proposed to do with Power Automate? Once candidate signs the offer or fills the form which is sent to HR team, HR gets notification that new task, that new candidate signs the offer. Because among the emails we have, of course, we don't notice some important email. Here we get a notification or a task to review this application. Then we set up an approval process. It can be unique for each company. For example, after HR, it should go to the approval to the manager of this person who can be hired. If manager approves, then it should go to the department manager. And the last stage, also, if everyone approves, the welcome email can be sent to the candidate. We can even expand this workflow and, let's say, combine it with the IT help desk, who should, after after the welcome email, let's say with initial date is sent, we want that IT help desk would prepare a personal place for this employee, including like hardware, software, which should be provided. So, and in this case, in case of onboarding new employees, we first of all, we avoid a case when we just have manufacturer and cannot find the appropriate email in a time. Yes, so we directly get notification. We reduce the time which is needed for the general approval. So we don't need to manage communications. The system by us just moves the approval process step by step once everyone confirm it. And of course, what's important is that in this case, we have single storage. All the candidates we have, all the interviews we have, all the statuses and results of these interviews, they're stored in the single platform in the SharePoint, and we can not just onboard the process, we can also analyze the information in the future, how to optimize this process. Process and approval, it's probably one of the most used cases because we have a lot of similar internal process in the company, like working with agreements, contracts, invoices, business trips or vacation requests, IT help desk, etc. And SharePoint and Power Automate is a platform which basically allows us automating all of such types approvals. What we need to remember about each process can be just split it on 3 separate stages, which we need to describe to understand how to achieve it. First of all, each process has a description. It's kind of if you take a paper on which we will write vacation request. So it's information which I need to provide so that my request would be approved. So the first task, we need to describe our process. What the information should be prepared, like in which format. The second core stage is the logic, approval logic, approval workflow. So we need to tell whether the approval should be step by step, maybe a parallel. Do we have 1 approval or we have 5 approvals? Do we need to allow editing of the approval stages or they should be strict? So we just need to design our approval logic. Who should approve, when it should be approved, and if there are any specific conditions on that. And third area is the most flexible because here we can understand and clarify. Do we need that our approval be supported on mobile or desktop? Do we need an integration with any kind of application like in Office 365 or outside of Microsoft 365? Do we want to track the history and status of the progress of each approval? But understanding these 3 kits, we understand how to build the process with Power Automate and SharePoint. And as we mentioned, most of this internal approval process can be just covered by SharePoint and Power Automate. And in case of just requirements to the mobile work, just include Power Platform and also everything works. And the last practical case, it's how to track sales activities with Power Automate. So in this case, we work with Dynamics 365. In Dynamics 365, we have a list about our customers, about our leads, deals, and it takes a lot of time for the sales units to track all the information just visiting Dynamics 365. Because we have new customers, we have new opportunities, and we can just, we have options. We can lose the important information, or we can just lose the time which we spent on reviewing the important information. So just simple integration with Power Automate let me notify sales units about cases when they should contact customers, when they should prepare the agreement, when they should, renew the communication with the customer. So the head of the sales unit is free, and they can work on communication with new customers. And automation is done with the Power Automate. And now, after practical scenarios, we would like to show you how this works in real life. So we prepared for you the few demo to show how this process, like we discussed now, can be implemented into Microsoft 365 ecosystem and how they can work. Okay. First of all, I would like to start from the site opened right now. So this is SharePoint site. Just in case if you're not Microsoft 365 user and you don't work with SharePoint yet. So SharePoint site is the simplest entity which is proposed by SharePoint to work with the content and data. Here we can find list of widgets which help us to visualize different kind of content, and it can be news, announcements, calendar, everything we need for our activities. But of course, the most important for us for now is document management. So we can create any number of document libraries in SharePoint to achieve the goals of specific department, team, or maybe organization. Each document library can be managed. So we can create documents, we can create folders, we can add categorization, like as we discussed before. Yes, so each document library can have categories based on which I can apply filtering, apply context search, and that makes the user interface clearer. At the same time, all the documents you create, all the document libraries you create has strict permission management. So you can manage who should be able to visit these documents, who should be able to view or add, and so on. So in case of document structuring, everything is simple. I create document library, I upload documents to the SharePoint library or list, and work with these documents. If I want, I can find some advanced features from Power Automate and add automation to the existing document library. If you want to automate the process, and here we will look an example of invoice management. So we have internal process in the company. It's invoice management. So once I receive an invoice, I need to submit it with my team to make a payment. And in our case, we designed the following process. We have invoice management, and this invoice should be submitted by my manager, by finance manager, and by department manager. So how to build such process after we discussed the capabilities of SharePoint, the capabilities of Power Automate and Power Apps. First of all, as we mentioned, so we have our SharePoint list where we store the information about all the invoices. I have the list structure, so it's different than in document library. So here it displays information I need to analyze the information about invoices I created, like date, status, and so on. If I want to create a new invoice, I have a card. And this card contains a list of columns which I should create. Each process, or even the single process like invoice management, in each company can be different or unique. So we can design, yes, a required list of columns and Z types to describe our process. In our case, we have just simple scenario. So I need to fill the card. This information is requested. Regarding the type of the columns you can use, it can be text, it can be a long text, it can be choice, metadata, lookup. So for example, we can use people picker type of column. So I just insert the name of employee, and all the information about this person can be automatically inserted to the appropriate columns. I fill the invoice, information about invoice, I fill the invoice card, set up the date, and save. So this is my card where I describe the process, and then I save it. So then on Power Automate, we have, as I discussed, the process. It should have 3 stages: manager, finance manager, and department manager. And once the invoice is submitted, like the whole process, initiator also should get a notification about that. As I make a demo from the single account, in this case, I will be a manager, finance manager, and department manager. So Power Automate requires up to 2 minutes, for example, to launch a flow. And the first step we are waiting for is to get a notification to the exchange. So here it is. Here is my request, which I just created. And there are different ways how can I automate the process. We wanted to show you that Power Automate also provides us with cross-platform capabilities. Yes, we can develop everything directly in this, let's say, list. So users should open the list, should find the assigned task, and then approve it. But we can also make cross-platform capabilities. So I don't visit this invoice management often. So once I get a notification, I can approve invoice directly from my Outlook. If I want, I can just click link to the item and look the full review of the cart with attached documents, if there are any, and work with this task. But I want to approve it. I can leave a comment, optional, and submit. The next stage in our logic, task goes to finance manager. Also, just as we want to show you cross-platform capabilities, the next task would go not to Outlook, but to the Teams. So in this case, also, we support mobile workers, we support teams who work remotely to use just single platform. And if I need to make any kind of approval, I don't need to use any other systems for that. So I just see this new task, I can approve it, leave a comment, and submit. And then last task to department manager, also to submit this task. I can do that. By the way, we can see that in this case, all the actions we do with the invoice management, they are updated automatically. So this task is still in the progress, and I can see that, okay, it should be finished. But once it's finished, now I will get a notification. Okay, and I see that the status of this task is approved. And here is my notification that the invoice I created and wanted to submit is sufficiently done, so I can, I don't know, pay it. That was the first case, but typically such case, as it related to the internal business processes, it's an example which shows us how we can automate similar process as well. It can be not invoice management, it can be agreement management or contract approval. In this case, all we change is just a description of our process and card it consists and the logic of the workflow. In case of vacation request, yes, we have not invoice, we don't have any kind of attachments, but we just need to describe our process like vacation, and we need to describe who should be responsible for the approving of this task. We can use particular users, we can use managers, we can look to the functional roles. So Power Automate is flexible with these configurations. And next demo I would like to show you is related to advanced document and process management. So when we want to move the interface to the next stage, so to make user interface better for employees, reduce the time how to start to work with the system and make them work with the system faster, and basically provide an opportunity to work from mobile or desktop applications, we can develop an application based on Power Apps. So the example I want to show you is leave request. Here, what do I have? This is just app which I added to my personal Microsoft Teams, and the interface of application I can use. In the interface, I can see that I can create new requests, I can review leave balance. I have a different type of requests, and they're different, like can be vacation, sick leave, information about company holidays. So the interface for me is clear. But at the same time, backend of this application is still SharePoint, where we store all that information about created requests, where we store information about type of request and their duration. So for the users, they receive just clear user interface to work with the tasks and create them from different devices. For the company, we still have a platform which allows us to store the information and analyze it. So if I want to create a request, I just click button create, select the type of leave I want to apply, like vacation. Select the date. Let it be okay. Automatically, I see that my duration would be calculated. So I have for vacation in our company like about 10 days. So it will be left only 3 days. Add the description and submit. How the responsible person would approve this task also depends on the logic of the process you would like to achieve. The approval can get a task to the Teams or to the Outlook, or you can also, so as we described, so if you want, there can be single interface, and we approve all the tasks directly from Power Apps as well. So I have vacation request, I can review the details, and if I want, I can approve it or decline. And the last case to show that Power Apps really helps to make an impact to the user interface, user management, and to the integration between different systems. So we can, when we can move from the technical system to the user interface, it also works on mobile. It works on mobile phones, and we have different cases when we need to provide, let's say, remote employees or field workers with an option to make a request about something important. So here we have just simple case as a help desk ticket, but you can find that it's adopted for mobile phones. Nothing difficult to develop such solution, but if you have a goal to provide field employees to request about important information, all we need to do is just publish such application to the Microsoft Teams. And then from the mobile phone, I can describe the issue I have. Select the category and select the priority. At the same time, that's just interface which we develop with Power Apps. On the back end, we have SharePoint where we store the information. And Power Automate can help us to automate the specific process for this request. For example, if it's a hardware issue, it should go to one department. If it's a software issue, it should go to another department. If it's a high priority, we have 1 day for the resolving. If it's low priority, 5. And that's how we take in different components can deliver the full solution using SharePoint, Power Apps, and Power Automate. That's all examples I wanted to show for today. I hope you have questions and we'll be pleased to answer them as discussed after the webinar. What I would like to sum up. So after the information we reviewed, so today we reviewed with you theoretical part about Microsoft 365 and specific tools like SharePoint and Power Platform. We reviewed the practical scenarios and practical examples how these scenarios can be achieved. So what does the smart document management approach means to us? As we see, market is rapidly changing and new trends and challenges appear almost every day. The platform we use, first of all, for sure should meet the main requirements we expect from this solution. But at the same time, we also require this platform would be flexible for the new changes and trends. It should have clear user interface and administration interface. It should have advanced experience and features like analytics with cross-device capabilities, and of course, security. Today, we wanted to show you and tell how Microsoft 365 helped to achieve these kits under single ecosystem and under single umbrella with practical cases. If you have any questions, we'll be pleased to assist you and tell more about how the specific solution could be achieved in your company for your business. So feel free to contact us via information you see on the slide. For today, I want to thank you very much for your time and joining this meeting, this webinar. I hope it was interesting for you and you find useful information which you can apply now as a Microsoft 365 customer or as a potential, maybe you consider that. Wish you a great day and hope to speak with you in future.